Let's look at the literature review and some guidelines for APA formatting and writing clarity. The learning outcomes include: explain why you should use APA format for your literature review, explore how to build a reference list using appropriate APA formatting guidelines, and assess how and when to use direct quotes. So why do we use APA format? We don't do it simply to make it harder for you to write your papers or submit your assignments. Rather, it allows you to express your ideas in a consistent format and style while following known guidelines. We use the APA guide, although other formats include Chicago, MLA, etc. The APA guide is updated periodically. The 6th, 2009 and 7th, 2020 editions are very similar. They're regularly updated. The paper on the left doesn't use APA formatting guidelines, but uses those specified by the journal. You have to follow whatever guidelines are required by the publication outlets you seek. Let's look at a couple of guidelines according to the APA Style Guide. As mentioned, we wanted to use a uniform, consistent style. Then when others are researching, they can look and see, does this title, is it what I need to review for my research? It helps determine and shortens research time when completing research. Rules of style make sure that I ethically report any information that will help readers make a determination about any of my biases. For instance, who I might work for. My employer may be relevant if I'm working for a drug manufacturer or an e-voting machine manufacturer, for instance. Consistency in style allows us to express quantitative results and use graphics, tables, and figures that are most appropriate. It helps us report outcomes in a standard format that people will be able to interpret. Style also allows us to describe individuals with accuracy and respect. You describe individuals in a manner that is accurate and that they find respectful. In general, when you refer to individuals or groups of individuals, use the term that they generally prefer. As times change, acceptable names for groups may evolve, and style guides and wording suggestions change as well, and sometimes you have to change your wording as well. If you look at a sample APA paper for 6th edition APA, it might look something like this. This is a version of a paper that I submitted several years ago. There's a running head across the top, 50 words or less. It's usually a shortened version of the title. If your title is already very short, then you can use the entire title. Note that the 7th edition does not require the running head. You see next the title, Bridging the Divide, Open Access Journals and the IS Scholarly Community. The title is formatted using title case, which is what the journal where we submitted required. Oftentimes in academic circles, we'll have a colon and then a subtitle underneath. So it makes it easier for those who are searching for similar articles to find what they need. Then we have the authors and whatever affiliations they have. Here's the 7th edition APA. A couple of quick comments. There is no running head. The first page is numbered, and there are other comments to show differences. This paper is linked in Module 2. Your references must be formatted according to APA style. That includes every comma, every period, every indentation. You also want to use hanging indent. That means that after the first line, each line is indented one tab space in effect. You can find the hanging indent setting within Word. To do that, go to Paragraph, Indentation, Special, Hanging, as shown here. More guidelines for references. Double space throughout the entire paper, including the references. You should alphabetize by the last name of the first author and follow all APA guidelines for formatting the paper and references. You cannot rely on an automatic converter. While they are a good start, they will often have errors in them and need to be checked by hand. Use the APA guide to help you format. Do not include any section numbers and do not number references. You do number pages. You only want to use direct quotes when you cannot summarize it in your own words without losing meaning. For instance, listen to these famous words by President John F. Kennedy.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellows,
there is no way that I can summarize these words without losing their meaning, without losing emotion, and without allowing JFK's voice to come through. Similarly, I cannot summarize the words of the Declaration of Independence any better than the Founding Fathers. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Here, Dr. Martin Luther King quoted part of the Declaration of Independence and then owned it, using it to evoke powerful emotions. I would never even attempt to summarize the feelings that MLK brought forth in this speech. It still gives you goosebumps.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
These three examples notwithstanding, you rarely use direct quotes in your research papers. You never use direct quotes for statistics or boring facts. Simply state the fact and cite the source. In summary, we talked about APA formatting and the importance of using it for consistency. Throughout the research process, you will use research from others, always citing the ideas and only using direct quotes that are compelling and that you can't easily summarize in your own words without losing meaning. In a 3 to 4 or 5 page literature review, I would expect no more than 1 or 2 direct quotes, and it's okay if you have 0. 0 is good. Do not use direct quotes for statistics. They are rarely compelling. State the fact and cite the source instead.